Pretty much every single design publication will claim that there are these magical paint colors that work in every single space. The Spruce just put out an article like this, and this is what inspired this video, because honestly, articles like this make my job so much harder. The available light that you have, your fixed elements, and your furnishings change everything. So today I'm going to be breaking down why these so-called universal paint colors might be ruining your design before you even start. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ashley, and each day I help frustrated homeowners make sense of their painting projects by picking the right colors to match with the fixed elements in your home. I also help those that are renovating or building a new home choose the right hard finishes for a home that effortlessly coordinates well. Okay, let's get into it. If you are perusing the internet looking for the perfect paint color, I know you've heard of this one. The first one we're going to talk about is Benjamin Moore Pale Oak. Now, Pale Oak is one of my favorite paint colors. It looks good on cabinetry, it looks great on exteriors, it looks good on walls. But is it a color that is a no-fail color that works in every single space? Let's dive in. So let's understand what Pale Oak is. It's a taupe. Taupe sits in between beige and gray. It's warmer than gray, it's cooler than beige. A lot of people are loving taupes right now. In fact, I would say that taupes are probably the #1 neutral that I am recommending based on my clients' tastes in the last year or two. So they're very popular right now. But taupes have those pinky purple undertones. You cannot escape them. It works really well though with a lot of natural stone because you see those pinky purple undertones in a lot of natural stone. The thing I like about Pale Oak is it's not totally committed to that taupe. It's very, very mild, and it's got just a little bit of gray to kind of calm it down. So it is versatile. But let's do a little test and see if it works everywhere. Okay, so here we have a fireplace. It's got this stone. A lot of us are living with fireplaces like this. Does it work? It really doesn't work right here. You can tell that when we put the Pale Oak over this stone just to kind of test it out, it's way too cool. We need something in the beige family. So when we move to something like neutral ground, you can just kind of see how that blends much better together. So if you have a fireplace like this, Pale Oak is not going to work. If you have kitchen counters that are warmer like this, Pale Oak, again, not going to work. So is this a no-fail paint color? No, it's not, but it is versatile. All right, who hasn't heard of Shoji White? If you have been decorating, renovating, you've heard of this color. It's really versatile. I love it for exteriors and interiors, especially if you want that creamy white on your exterior but don't want to go too stark. Shoji is a great option. Now, is it a no-fail paint color? Let's see. So Shoji is a beige, and beige is just to kind of, again, you cannot escape undertones. Do not think about asking for a neutral that doesn't have undertones unless you're going with a pure white. You're out of luck there. So beige either has gold, green, yellow, pink, or orange, okay? A lot of different undertones to contend with. Green is the easiest undertone out of those to work with. Shoji has a green undertone, and it's also got a little bit of a pink undertone, and this does tend to throw some people. So a lot of spaces that I see, they have a lot of taupe tones and they have a lot of beige tones, and they're looking for a color to kind of bridge the gap between those taupe and those beige tones. Shoji is a color that works really, really well in that particular instance. Okay, but let's do a little test. Is Shoji a no-fail paint color? It's not. Look at it with this rug. Do you see how this warm paint color is just doing nothing for this rug? You need something cooler. So this little test just told you Shoji should be used in a room that has warmer fixed elements, and it really sings when you've got a little bit of a taupe fixed element too, because it kind of marries that beige and that taupe. So again, it is versatile because it does kind of bend to both sides of taupe and beige, but it is definitely not a no-fail paint color. Edgecomb gray is a color that I tend to recommend a lot. It's very popular, but for good reason. It works really well in a wide variety of spaces. But is it no fail? Let's find out. So first, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. The word gray is in this paint color, and I know a lot of you have been conditioned to run from anything gray, my clients included. When my clients present me with inspiration photos that I know they're gonna like edgecomb gray or a color like it, and I suggest it, they get very nervous because we have been conditioned that gray is out. Well, the gray that is out are those cool toned grays. And again, and I hope you've heard me say this before, there's not one single neutral that will ever be out as long as it relates to what's going on in your space and it works to bring that space together. So you need to get the idea out of your mind that neutrals are out. If you've got neutrals that work well with the elements in your house, they're not out. Edgecomb gray is a warmer gray. It's got a green undertone. So just like beiges, grays and grays have undertones, you cannot escape them. Your best bet is to work with them. With Edgecomb gray, you've got a green undertone, but with other grays, you either have green, blue, or purple, or a combination of both. I really don't see anything other than green in Edgecomb gray. It's really warm too, compared to a lot of grays like in the Sherwin-Williams line, like agreeable gray. Edgecomb gray is much warmer. So now that I've told you about the benefits of Edgecomb gray, let's do a little test. Is this a no-fail paint color? Okay, let's put Edgecomb gray up next to this couch. This is a pretty popular fabric color. Does this work well? Some of you that are kind of still learning how to pair neutrals with fabrics might say yes. It doesn't. This couch is clearly a taupe, so we need to pair it with something like pale oak or Benjamin Moore Fossil or something like that. Edgecomb gray is much better suited for a couch that looks like this. So I hope that helps. Edgecomb gray is versatile, but it's not no fail. Balboa Mist is another paint color I like a lot because it works to bridge the gap like a lot of these colors we've talked about. So a lot of you during the millennial gray trend where everything was that cool blue gray, you ran out and bought everything in those cool blue gray tones, and now you want to warm things up, but you don't really want to alienate what you've got in your space. You still want it to somewhat relate. Balboa Mist is a great option. It's a gray with a purple undertone, and the purple is not, it doesn't scream at you, but it warms things up because purple is warmer than blue. So it's that nice, versatile paint color to work well with the blue-gray elements. And if you've got purple gray, it also works well. But is it no fail? Let's find out. So Balboa Mist is versatile because it does warm up those cool blue tones, but it doesn't work in every situation. If you have kitchen cabinets that look like this, or if you've got a couch that looks like this, it's still unfortunately a little bit too cool and you have to go warmer. Now City Loft I get asked about a lot because it is really hard to nail down. It's got so many undertones. This is technically a gray and it's got undertones of I see purple, I see blue, and I see green, and that's why it's so hard to nail down. But if you've got furniture or fixed elements in that gray area and your undertones kind of vary within gray, you've got some green, some blue, some purple, City Loft is a good color to marry all of those undertones together. But if you truly need something warmer, let's say that you have countertops like this, or you have a rug like this, it won't work because it's still too cool and you need to go warmer. Okay, we are coming to the end of this list and we're going to talk about some whites, and I know what you're thinking. Okay, nothing, she has not authorized one single paint color as no fail. Hopefully these off-whites or kind of sort of whites, she's going to check mark and I can put these all throughout my house. So let's talk about a very popular one, which is Benjamin Moore White Dove. Now, it's no secret White Dove is one of my favorites. I have this all throughout my house. I tend to recommend this one a lot. I like it because it's an off-white that doesn't have too much yellow in it. It has a good deal of gray to it, so it's not overly creamy, but it's still night and day compared to a stark white like Chantilly Lace or Extra White by Sherwin-Williams. All right, here's a little test to see if White Dove is no fail. So in this example, we have a stacked stone fireplace. You can see this is really warm, really earthy. The lightest that I would recommend that you could go here would be a pale taupe to relate to the warm taupe tones in the stacked stone. So here's a paint drop of a taupe and you can see how lovely this flows now. On the contrary, here's a fireplace where White Dove would be perfect. The stone is pretty easy to work with, it's not too earthy, and you can easily put this stone next to an off-white. Now, can you pair this stone with a warm grayish? Of course you can, and that would give you some added warmth, and you can see how lovely a color like Classic Gray by Ben Moore can work here. Now, one of the last things I want to say about White Dove, because this color is so popular, you can do a quick Google search and see it all over. The large majority of these images have been edited significantly and they have been styled and really, really decorated. Off-whites everywhere, which has been the trend for many, many years now, is really hard to live with if you are not someone who loves to decorate and pull items together well to create a lot of texture and definition through your living space, because it can easily look sterile. So Origami White isn't one of my colors that I tend to recommend a lot, but I did come across this one in an article recently, and it was described as a soft neutral, so it works well with both warm and cool colors. Now, and this is what makes my job is so hard, because these articles, like I said, are published all the time. People read them, they come to me and they say, well, why won't this color work? People say it's a versatile fan favorite that works in virtually every single living room. So let's just kind of pull back the curtain on Origami White a little bit. What I like about Origami White is that it's about a half shade darker than a traditional off-white. I like this because it warms up your walls a little bit. It's a little bit easier to live with, looks a little bit less clinical on the walls. So already I like that fact. Let's test out this no-fail paint theory really quickly by putting this paint drop right next to a kitchen that a lot of us have in our homes right now. So you can see, despite the color not being an off-white, this color is still a little bit too cool for this kitchen. You can really see that purple undertone in Origami White start to pop out, and what we need for this kitchen is more of a warm beige. So hopefully you learned something about why there truly are no-fail paint colors, because the paint that you choose needs to relate to what is going on with your fixed elements, your countertops, your floor, your tile, those types of things, and your furniture to really, really make the room look cohesive and like it was done by a decorator. So thanks for watching, everyone. I always forget, but if you would like to download my free cheat sheet, I will put a link below that talks about all my favorite neutral paint colors and their undertones. Thanks for watching.